Instead, does wisely decide to back off, and even more exciting, we're going to see straight lane matchups. So it is going to be, you know, the top laners versus top laners and our duo laners versus duos. So we'll see how this pans out and just how effective they can be.
Standard meta that everybody at home has played in ranked. And well, you're going to know exactly what to come up against. Let's see how the pros do it, though. It is going to be fantastically played out. Diamond starting off on the red buff, and we do see Cyanide also on the red buff. He's getting help, though, from Enrated. Darian going up towards that top lane. He has taken down the golems himself, so should have a bit of an advantage, but we've already seen Soaz. He's been picking up the wolves as well, so kind of back and forward. Could be close. Cyanide going very low to the red buff there.
Yeah, he tanked that up for a very prolonged period of time. Zyra didn't take any of that damage at all, which would have made him a little bit quick, safer. What we do see is Diamond Prox jumping over the wall, and it's a very small thing to note, but he saves, 2 or 3 seconds worth of walking time doing the route in that particular order. If you consider every single time you go for these camps that you can save that time, it adds up to a lot more ganking potential, CS potential. Pink Ward War goes down again, and Enrated and Edward are now out of pinks in this bottom lane.
Yeah, both out of pinks, using them up very early on in that river. Cyanide does smite down the blue, and he's going to walk across. We see launching across from Diamond there in towards the Wraiths, and it adds a lot of versatility to the gank potentials. But Cyanide effectively can do the same, but it's a double mana combo.
Correct. So, it's also a skill shot combo as well. So if Cyanide is under a little bit of pressure with that Jarvan, he runs the risk of being able to miss it. And it's a lot easier to dodge because you see the flag. You know the angle of approach. You can see where he's coming in. The range on that Elastic Slingshot is 1150 at rank 1, and you can do that from so far out of sight. Bottom lane, the poke is good.
The poke is good, very good back and forward. Power chord coming out from Edward as well and towards Yellow Star. Yellow Star getting a good bit of burn down onto Genja, and back and forth they keep on going. We do see Diamond positioning himself in that top lane, so has not fallen for that at all. He has got a ward in his own top bush, so he will get spotted, Diamond, as soon as he moves across, which he's probably going to do in just a moment. Taking a bit of lane tax there as well as the level experience, melting it away. And actually that would be an easy tell, because Soaz would see that level to Darian and he'd say he'd been so much slower than before. He's like, there's someone here.
Yeah, exactly, but he is going to charge it up, and he's leaped in.
Lane tax taken away by Diamond. Says, if I'm going to waste my time up here, I'm going to take your minions. And Darian even taking a tower here. Bit of a mistake, Manuel in the mid lane. It's going to be Peke taken very, very low there. Alex Siege finally using that Fortitude pot to get aggressive and just popping him down so low. But Peke is going to avoid the damage.
Yeah, so he replied with a Fortitude pot of his own, and he did manage to get the stun down. So they traded Ignite for Flash in that engagement. But that is exactly what Peke needed to do. Land the stun and get to safety. We do see that Diamond was thinking about going for that, dash in, leap over behind the turret and use that percentage HP damage to pick up a kill. Very importantly, Edward is out of mana in this bottom lane, so the sustain is no longer there. The HP that they're sitting on is what they will remain on until Edward can regenerate that mana again.
Yeah, and he's got no items, of course. He didn't buy anything, went straight wards, pots, everything he could use. And he's already chugged through it also. Like you mentioned, no mana at all. Can't do any of those Q pokes, which he loves to do. He's going to get rooted up. This may well be first blood here. No, he has to flash away from that hail of arrows. And they're turning it around. Yellow Star's taken very low by Genja, though.
So there's no potions left for either of the bottom lanes except for Enrated. Zyra, and the damage onto Yellow Star. He popped the barrier.
Uses the double up, but the barrier saves him. And they are pushed right up on their tower now. Genja, and it is going to be Fnatic backing off to buy.
So we'll see how many of these last hits Genja can pick up. But that's a 15 CS lead in a lane with no sustain. So they're playing the poke lane very, very well. Enrated and Yellow Star need to continually apply pressure to force Genja to stand back, to miss those last hits. And they're doing a relatively good job of it so far. We'll see if they can keep it up after this first back.
So Peke goes back, gets himself some cloth armor as well as the Doran's blade, so he's going to get himself a little bit more hit points to deal with Alex Sich's burst. Alex Sich, meanwhile, he went back and got himself 2 Doran's blades, so he's going to be stacking up the damage in there. Interesting to see who manages to land the first blood between those two. Equalizer comes out from Soaz, keeping the pressure on this top lane against Darian. Will he back off after buy? No, he's going to make sure he clears out the rest of the lane. Doesn't want to miss out on that 40 gold, which he almost is about to miss out on, but we'll never get to see it.
So we'll see now how this pans out. Both junglers moving towards the top lane, and unfortunately Jarvan has just backed off as Diamond Proc Flux arrives, and you actually see Diamond, he's placed a ward there down for Darien. So, you know, all of that pressure that Soaz was applying, even Gambit were like, this is a little fishy, this doesn't quite add up. And he actually came over to put a ward down himself, but he's jumped on PeKe.
Alex is going in again. This time he's going to dive towards the tower. That death mark will go off any moment, but he gets stunned up so well. Alex is the Ignite's burning a cyanide. He's going to see if he can slide in. He hasn't got level 6, so can he get the Cataclysm off this wave? No, he's not. He's not going to be able to dive it.
Perfect example of how you can use that stun to counter Alex. PeKe maybe running a little lucky there. If he did not have that cloth armor, the damage would probably have been enough to kill him. So good itemization manages to keep him alive, and of course the potion's ticking through as well. So well played by both champions there. PeKe is about to get his ultimate, which means Alex may not be able to get away with that aggressive dive again, because the Slicing Maelstrom will be available.
Let's see, he's going to back off, Alex. Clearing out those wraiths. Red buff is going to be picked back up by Diamond. Hasn't gone for any ganks just yet. Instead, it didn't work out for him in that top lane. Will have his ultimate available as well, so he could come bouncing into it. Cyanide, the same. He's going to be picking up his red buff. He's going to be looking for kills down in this bottom lane, and immediately we see that ping ward already placed by Unrated, keeping Edward away from getting any wards into that bush, so that may well be a point of contact that Cyanide tries to sneak into.
One thing that's very important, they've jumped on PeKe.
They've jumped straight in there. Have they got enough to take him down? Uses his ultimate, but he's going to be first blood. And who will it go to? It is going to be Alex Ich. The combination with his jungler is just too much for that poor little Yordle.
It's not over yet. Darien's been hit.
He's diving in there. Equalizer was down. The Ignite should be enough to tick him one more. There it is. Soaz picks up the kill in the top lane. And suddenly it's a straight trade 1-for-1.
And Darien still wants to play. He's charging up that slingshot in the bottom lane. Is he going to go in? He is.
He's going to jump in towards Yellowstar, but remember, Cyanide is there and they come sliding in. Have they done enough? They need to take down all those little chunks of Diamond procs, and they will get it. It's Yellowstar that picks up the kill.
So they squash the flubber beneath their feet, and they pick up some kills, so very well played. First and foremost, in the middle lane, PeKe going down, but he did a lot of counter damage. Once he gets some more safety in the form of that Seeker's Arm Guard and the Hourglass eventually, he may survive some of the burst. Top lane, straight up 1v1, Soaz managed to kill Darien. And in the bottom lane, unfortunately, because Jarvan's Cyanide's Jarvan was nearby, that gank turned sour. So 2-1 at the end of it, and a 1,000 gold lead for Fnatic.
Speaking of lanes turning sour, Yellowstar starting to build up a pretty hefty lead over Genja here. 26 CS, you can see he's just forcing him away from that turret. They may well try and take you down, or will they just want to stay this lane a little bit longer because Genja is suffering here?
So they're not forcing the lane down, and for that exact reason. If you can deny Genja those items for as long as possible, you prolong the suffering, it's obviously going to give you that advantageous position. So it's already grown to a 30 CS lead, and we'll probably see more ganks from Diamond Procs, or maybe even Alex coming down there to try and kill the squishy champion.
Soaz appears to have the better of Darien right now, throwing those harpoons back in towards him. Did overheat a little bit there, so effectively silencing himself for a short period of time. Darien pretty much sitting on his own turret, has got the Sorcerer's Boots, so we'll start to do a bit more damage. Mans to land the cocoon, immediately sinks the fangs in towards Soaz, but turns around and again overheats himself. He's not quite able to just keep that balance at the moment and keep the damage flowing. Darien is going to get caught out, but Edward, meanwhile, down in this bottom lane, is going to be the crescendo. Wow. The bullet time combined. Is it enough? Yes, it is. N-rated goes down. That passive's going to come out, but Yellowstar's going to drop as well. It's going to be surely be a double kill. The barrier, is it enough? The snipe was from the passive of N-rated, took down Edward, and Genja still didn't have enough to take down Yellowstar.
Support on support action. They've caught the spider out.
Have they, though? He repels away, but he's going to get dropped. The Cataclysm comes out, but in comes Diamond Procs, launching himself in. He's going to try and bounce his way around, but it's not going to be enough. Hasn't got the damage in there.
No, not at all, unfortunately, and he was afraid of taking on two. If that Flame Splitter had turned on him, he probably would have been squashed quite quickly, especially because his abilities cost his own life. And those little bloblets, if you step on them, you can kill them and prevent him getting that life back. PeKe is taking a lot of harassment from Alex in this mid lane.
He's definitely getting poked around. He has just snuck around and took his wraiths away, Alex, so he's farming out very well compared to PeKe. Definitely keeping the pressure on. You can see he's got that blue buff on as well. And again, PeKe almost diveable right now, but he's just so fearful of those stuns that PeKe managed to land in the first engagement. Instead, Alex backs off. He's going to clear another wave of wraiths. He's definitely stacking out. No, tell a lie. He's just going to clear out the mid lane.
So going to carry on farming and CSing. A very good job by Alex. He's pulled himself a little bit ahead as far as CS, and it will probably continue that trend for the next couple of minutes. And in terms of just the action, whenever it happens in every single lane at the same time. So the game is very chaotic at the moment, but look at the damage. You see Jarvan is nearby, And PK was thinking about going in there, but there's no Cataclysm available.
No, just wants to keep the poke on him, does stun him on the turret, but the turret is not hitting him, and he realizes it puts the death mark down, does manage to get him, but he's going to be Alexich going down in the process, so it was a 1-for-1 with Cyanide picking up the assist.
Yeah, so 1-for-1 at the end of the day. I think PK was hoping to get the assist down before the death mark landed, but it wasn't to be. So at the end of the day, the trade does come out in Fnatic's favor thanks to that assist gold, obviously helping them out. And obviously, we'll see how that pans out. He's got that Seeker's On God plus a Ruby Crystal completed. So he's going to have that additional armor stacking up and the survivability from that additional health.
We're seeing Diamond poking in the mid lane, but down this bottom lane, we do see Genji getting rooted up again. Yellowstar not going to follow through on this one. And Edward does get that power cord back out combo on towards Yellowstar, just keeping him at bay. But you can see he's just going to get chugging through any little health pot that he has remaining. And the Bilgewater Cutlass, of course, with the lifestealer that is given, he's definitely going to be just regaining that health. He's already back to max.
And there's something that you have to give props to in this bottom lane, and that's Enrated's roots. He's snared either Genji or Edward so many times in this laning phase already that it's the reason they're winning this one. He lands the CC, Yellowstar deals the damage, and it costs Genji the CS. And that's pretty much the rinse and repeat that they continue doing. Take a moment to look at the numbers across the board. Mid lane, still that very small advantage for Alexich, and in the top lane, the small advantage for Soaz, plus that kill and assist. In terms of gold, the numbers aren't that far apart right now, with the exception of Genji in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Soaz is also tipping the scales in that top lane just a little. 500 gold, definitely starting to go a little bit more, but Edward gets caught rooted up again, and those plants doing some work on towards Edward. Has managed to get that ward down. Try and keep Enrated away from that bush and give Genji a little bit of time to get that farm back going. Has fell behind. He's going to go for that Bloodthirster at the start, I feel. Something he tends to go to, but he did pick up the pickaxe this time around. So maybe he's just thinking, I can't quite get there quick enough. There's going to be another ultimate coming out. Soaz with the equalizer straight on towards Darien. Darien's not going to be able to escape this one. Does land the cocoon, but Soaz immediately flashes in. Flame Spitter doing work, and takes Darien down on the turret once again.
Soaz has got Darien's number completely. He's simply using Rumble to its absolute perfection right now. And he's managed to take Darien out 1v1 on 2 separate occasions. So we'll see if this trend does continue. Darien is a champion that does tend to give away a few more death
Alex is diving in the mid lane.
And there's death mark.
He's got the death mark down. He just about caught a glimpse of it, but he didn't go full on aggressive. And now he's got stunned up, and unfortunately the turret wasn't doing the damage. Bullet time in the bottom though, and he's just bouncing all over him. Yellowstar gonna get dropped here. This Diamond Proxer picks up the kill, and now Enrated forced away. While that's all happening, the top turret goes down, and Fnatic keeping the pressure on.
We'll see whether or not Gambit are actually able to secure a dragon if they want to force it. They've killed the AD carry in the bottom lane. They're going to have a 4-man on dragon, and we said this yesterday. Darien dies, Gambit gets dragon. Darien dies, Gambit gets a tower. We'll see how this pans out because they've lost Darien's tower in the top lane, and it does look like there's a fight there actually.
They're trying to dive in, and Darien again, he's on the turret. He's getting taken very, very low. You can see the Cataclysm comes out, but he does manage to turn it around and pick up Soaz in the process. But that turret pressure's continuing. Cyanide on there. Meanwhile, that was happening as well. PK also pressured that mid lane for a short while, so he's managed to get a bit of chunk of damage on the mid. Let's have a look at the items though. Soaz, he's gone back, just got himself a needlessly large rod, along with that haunting guys he's already picked up. That's going to hurt now.
And he doesn't even have those tier 2 boots yet, so if he does decide to go for something like Sorcerer's Shoes, he built pure AP on his Elise yesterday. He may do something similar in this particular game. At the end of that, trading a tower for a dragon, Fnatic are going to be happy with that trade because dragons will respawn and they'll be able to challenge.
Alexich is diving again on towards Peke. I can see it on the mini-map, but unfortunately for you guys at home, we're not quite catching it. It does mean that Alexich is going to keep Peke back, and Peke just can't get close to this one. The ultimate's available in just a couple of seconds.
That's exactly what I was about to point out. Deathmark is about to come off cooldown from Alex, and with the HP that Peke is sitting on, he will be able to be dived and killed. The one thing you have to point out is just how well Peke is CSing under all of this aggression. He's only 12 CS behind. After 15 minutes, that's a pretty good number. The same token, Genji, he's pulled himself back. He was 30 CS behind at one point. Now that number's down to 12 or 13.
No, Genji's returning to get some pressure on towards Yellowstar. He does successfully avoid Hail of Arrows and then walk straight back into it. Just going to get that slow effect back on you. Diamond Proxy, he's coming around. There's no wards in that river from Fnatic right now, although N-Rated is just about to go and do that. So it does look like it's not going to be coming around. Instead, he's just going to launch himself into the wolves. Peke is going to pick up the blue buff. He's going to return to that mid lane. Darien, though, this is the big, big problem for them. It's happened so many times for Gambit. it doesn't actually seem to affect them too often, despite the fact Darien is 1-4 right now, getting completely destroyed by Soaz in that top lane. They always seem to find a way to come back.
Yeah, so he's going to end up playing like running a distraction bot in these team fights. Going to go try to land some cocoons, use that repel and that spider form to get in and out as much as possible. Take a look at the double GP10s for Enrated, but we'll get back to that in a second, as both Cyanide and Soaz, they sniffed out a spider, and they're going to look to squash the spider under their big boots if they can.
Pings back and forwards. BenQ does manage to get a little bit of a burst, and Diamond Prox, well, he thought about it, he could get on towards him instead. Look at this. Someone's got to help him out here, because BenQ can't go straight 1-for-1 here, and Alex is just going to work down that turret every wave that comes along now, and you can see that's going to happen. He's going to dive in, he puts the death mark down. It will be enough, but has he been locked upon the turret enough? The Ignite's going to run. He has, and he got caught out. You can see he tries to get that little bit of lifesteal at the end there towards the minions, but another good turnaround. But that's the top turret also going down for Fnatic. So every time they're getting these kills back and forth, they are taking an advantage, and that's an inner turret going down. Meanwhile, down the bottom there, the Crescendo comes out, but he got flashed from Enrated, turns around, Chain of Corruption on towards Edward. They should have enough damage to finish him off here. Yellowstar going to try and get in there. Has he got enough? Yes, he does. The plant from Enrated picks it up. Now they're going to get a great route on towards Genja, and that saves the day. But Diamond Prox, he's coming in around the side. He's not going to be enough, because Soaz and Cyanide already there in defensive duty.
Great play by Fnatic to turn that one around. They got the top tower down. BenQ was able to stun Alex under the tower. He took 2 turret hits, and with the damage he put down, it was enough to pick up a kill. Soaz does not have his ultimate available if they want to go for this, this dive at the moment. But after the trade in the bottom lane, they'll be able to pick this tower up. If they want to, they may just decide to deny the experience.
Well, they're going to take it. That's 3-1 in turrets right now. Fnatic starting to put the pressure on towards Gambit in this first game of the Grand Finals. Remember, this is a best of 5, so many more games to come. Will we go all the way? Who knows? Gambit at the moment, though, are under a little bit of pressure. Alex is doing a lot of damage every time he catches on towards BenQ, but those stuns just counter him so well. How will that work out in the team fights? Well, we're going to get there shortly, because Dragon still not really being a focus target for either team.
No, not at all. But in terms of the team fights, if Enrated lands some more Stranglethorns like he's been doing, then I think that BenQ is going to have all the time in the world to get that damage down. When you combo with the Sorcerer's Shoes, Needlessly Large Rod, and the Haunting Guys of Soaz's Rumble, they are going to hit like a truck in these team fights, but they need to land those abilities. I was touching on Enrated's double GP10s. Philosopher's Stone and KG's Lucky Pick +2 kills. He is going to be very scary in the next 10 or 15 minutes, because he's going to start building some ability power. On the other side of the coin, Edward has only got a Ruby Sightstone, so yeah, he's got some additional, health, but that's all it is. 5-man Fnatic, they're stacking up on the tower, the slingshot's being primed, and there comes the blob.
Diamond goes launching in, gets bouncing around. Is he going to catch anyone down there? The Crescendo didn't come out from Edward. It wasn't quite available, because he'd used it in that bottom lane just before and didn't have bullet time, so really that's a case of an ulti wasted for Diamond there.
Yeah, he was bouncing without focus, to be honest, because he jumped into the fight and the call came, don't go, don't engage. So then he just bounced away and pretty much sulked himself out of the fight. So, it was a disruption technique. He did save the turret at the end of the day, but obviously they were hoping to get a little bit more out of that ultimate than just defending the turrets.
Darien now in the mid lane, and it's Alex Ich they've chosen. Said, look, Darien, you're clearly having problems. You're going to be with the rest of the team, and Alex is going to be the man that split pushes. This is what we saw them doing yesterday against SK Gaming. Alex Ich on Zed, split push, and ended up 2v1ing at one point as well. And he's going to keep that split push pressure, because frankly, he can take down any member, and he's already thinking of going for BenQ.
So he probably has the ability to do so. BenQ's busy saving up some money for the Hourglass. In the meantime, the rest of Gambit are positioning their wards for Dragon. You'll see it will respawn very, very shortly. And in preparation for that, they're putting down all of the vision that they can to try and control this. Now we see in the middle lane, though, Fnatic they're continuing the pressure. So, like I said earlier, they're playing the map. Fnatic want the towers and they want the lanes in their favor. Gambit, they're poising themselves for Drake.
We're going to see if they can get that one down. The pressure continuing to be applied. Like you say, Yellowstar, keeps on shoving that, and Diamond has to keep going back to clear that wave. Alex Ich is definitely going to keep pressure on towards BenQ. You can see he's trying to land those stuns. That's going to be so vital for his survival, really. The Seeker's arm guard's on now, so he's going to have a little bit more armor. But that Blade of the Rune King for Alex Ich, along with the Mercury Treads. He's purposely knows he's going to get stunned up. He's going to die for it. We knew it was coming sooner or later. He does manage to get the stun down, and Peke, he's going to be enough. The Ignite's not going to finish him off. Alex Ich goes in and just basically suicides because he knew there was no way he was going to survive it, and that means it's going to be a 4 for 4 in this Dragon area.
You have to give props to Peke though, because the moment Alex dived in there, he threw out the Thundering Shuriken, the skill shot Q, which connected, it landed, and that is why they traded those kills. The fact that he's down, it looks like Gambit, they don't want to contest the Dragon just yet, and look at all of the vision on that side of the map. It's just red wards and blue wards absolutely everywhere. Fnatic now, they seem to be setting up for mid. We'll see if they keep this pressure on.
Darien going to get caught out though, but Diamond has managed to engage. He's gone diving in towards us one. He's bouncing around the entire Fnatic. Flash is forced out from N-Rated as well there, but that was again Diamond. He's quite willful to just keep on using that ultimate to keep them at bay until their 2 mid laners return.
And there's nothing else holding them in position. This is something that Gambit don't have in that Fnatic do. Once Let's Bounce is used, they're going to rely on Crescendo to lock them down. Other than that, they've got a cocoon for crowd control. So it does look like Gambit have started off this Dragon. Fnatic are well aware of it. They have wards everywhere. Equalizer is up. Jarvan may dive in there. He's gone in. Cataclysm is available. Dragon has started to reset. Let's see it when the fight breaks out.
Clever play from Gambit here. They realize they can try and catch him out. Oh, it's going to be ultimate. It's Edward that was the only one caught by the Chain of Corruption. Now managed to land the Crescendo onto all of Fnatic, but neither team could counter it because everyone was avoiding it. And you can see Alex is now coming in. The poke coming back out there. You can see Peke hasn't got his ultimate available just yet. Cyanide is going to get taken down by the Ignite. Bullet time comes out, catches just the tail end of Fnatic there, and they're going to continue to pursue. Darien hasn't got any mana left, so he can't go diving in. But you bet your boots Alex Ich will. He goes on towards Yellow Star. The bounce comes out. One more hit. The barrier saves his life there, and Diamondprog's not quite able to finish him off. Who comes out on top? Well, it's got to be Gambit. They did manage to get that kill, but it was a very tight fight.
Cyanide managed to get Dragon in and amongst all of that. So yes, they managed to control the team fight, but overall, they lost in gold. In addition, a massive creep wave is being killed on the bottom lane by the turret, and Genja is stealing away the golems. He may decide to push this tower down. We'll see how much pressure he wants to apply, but at the end of it, a very, very tense fight from both teams. They used every single ultimate, and there was no 100% clear victor. It was very scrappy back and forth.
Genja purposely leaving that turret up, has let the wave push itself, and the same with Alex Ich in that top wave. He's cleared out and just let the wave push itself. The wave does do a lot of damage as well. Takes a good half the hit points shredded away from that one, so as will save it for now though. And the top turret does go down from the wave Alex Ich had pushed in. So, even game so far, 2,000 gold, or well, was it about 1,500 gold between the two teams, 10-8 in kills, and currently you could not split this team right now.
No, you couldn't split it at all. The one thing that did happen is that Kennen has just finished his Zhonya's Hourglass. This is incredibly, incredibly important. He is no longer a primary target for Deathmark because he will just simply Zhonya's away from the damage. This means Alex needs to get through Rumble, Jarvan, and Zyra to jump onto Yellow Star, or Blow It just killing a support. We'll see if Soaz fancies his chances here. He's working towards an Hourglass himself with a relative amount of armor, so he may try to pick a fight.
Well, this is the first time we've seen, obviously, Diamond using Zac in the LCS, going with a bit of a different build that we've seen across, of course, from those top laners. But the Equalizer goes down. Alex Ich actually dives on this one. Is he going to be bait or not? Because you're going to see Diamond bouncing around and disrupting them. So as he's going to get locked up, he will get taken down, but the Cataclysm comes out from Cyanide. Realizes better of it. Chain of Corruption again misses there. Diamondprogs now is going to go towards Alex Ich, pops down Peke, but he gets sniped out by Yellowstar from range. And now you can see Yellowstar is going to keep pursuing on towards Diamondprogs. The rest of Gambit are just around the side, but while this is all happening, Genja, he's still shoving the mid lane.
Peke made a mistake. He did not use his Hourglass in that fight. He got jumped on and got killed quicker than he was anticipating. Genja, he's farmed up the mid lane. He's pushed it down, but it's not over. They've caught Edward.
Edward gets caught out, has to use that Crescendo, but the Zyra ultimate immediately bouncing him up there. Is it going to be enough? Diamondprogs launches himself in there, and Yellowstar goes down. Now they're going to repel. They're going to sink the fangs in. N-rated, he goes down. It's a double kill for Darien. The passive's not going to be enough to snipe them down, and that is all advantages wiped out the Fnatic again, and suddenly the gold swings heavily in towards Gambit's favor.
So that 2,000 difference that Fnatic had is now in Gambit's back pocket. They just picked that one up. And Darien, who they shut down so effectively in the early game, is now 4-4-1. It doesn't matter that he's behind on CS. He's got the gold from the champions to make up for it. I'm taking a look at how Diamondprox is scaling his Zac right now, and he's maxed out his stretching strike, his Q, and his elastic slingshot. So he's going to start building up that damage from his W in the next couple of levels.
Well, Fnatic will be able to take down this middle turret, equaling things. 4-4 in turrets now. And that gold, just 1,000 between them. The wave being shoved along the top lane. Genja, though, he's getting all the farm right now. He's definitely, considering he fell 26 CS behind at one time from memory serves, he's now 28 ahead. He's definitely swung that one around. It's working very much in the favor of Genja compared to Yellowstar. Yellowstar, though, with that snipe, very nicely done on towards Alex Hitch in the previous fight. We've seen snipes, a number of snipes today as well, of course. You remember that happened in the SKEG game. Alex Hitch going looking towards the red buff here. He's going to find on towards Yellowstar, puts that death mark down. He's just going to turn it around. Chain of corruption. Is it going to be enough? No! Pop is the word.
He got obliterated. That was through a barrier as well. And the amount of damage that Alex has right now, he's shredding the armor from your Black Cleaver. He's stacking in the damage for Blade of the Ruined King. And he's going to insta-give anybody that he can in these team fights. Yellowstar's going to need to pick up a Guardian Angel to survive Alex, well, to revive after Alex has killed him if he wants to make a meaningful impact in these team fights.
We've seen Darian pushing in. Alex Hitch is shoving the bot lane as well. Peke is trying to keep him at bay. This is what he's been doing the whole time. And, you know, it's actually nullified the entire Fnatic tactic because it's all about Peke split pushing. And Alex Hitch, he's just beating him. And he's not allowing him to split push. So, in fact, it's just straight roll reversal. And Alex Hitch is the one split pushing on Peke.
So Alex right now just has his death mark available. And he's sitting there on the side of Peke waiting to jump in on him. He's hiding in the bushes. And if Peke is in range, he may actually jump in. And it looks like he's going to go. Peke's up and there's some damage. We'll see if he's going to go into the death mark or not.
They realize Soaz is away and they're trying to shove down the mid lane, but the whole of Gambit, they're all going to come straight down to this bottom turret. Soaz is backing off as quick as he can. He's going to have to rush straight down here. The whole of Gambit slowly rotating round in towards this middle jungle, but there is a lot of vision from Fnatic, so they're seeing it happen and they're reacting quick enough.
They need the vision because of the immense range that Diamondprox can engage from. It's 1,550 at rank 5. They've caught out the blob and they're going to go in.
They've caught him out. He's losing chunks of flubber. Is he going to go back and get him? You bet your life he is. That's 100 hit points. He's not going to let that slide. Peke, though, he's going to keep that poke on towards Darian. And now it looks like Sinod thought about going in there, but really the rest of the team was not in a position to go for him. And they do force Gambit away from this bottom turret.
So they hold on the turret, they force him out of the jungle. That's the most important thing. And now all of a sudden, Fnatic have positioning on Dragon. It has just respawned a moment ago. Neither team has vision right now, and you can see that by Gambit running over there. So will Fnatic. It's going to be the next team fight. The last time this happened, it was very, very close. Ultimates are available across the board, so expect another very big fight. Cocoon has caught Cyanide, and let's see them go in.
Cyanide's going to try and slide in and flash out of field to try and get the steal here. He has got vision. Is he going to be able to time it right? The whole of Fnatic are ready and waiting. Nope, not going to do it. And it was smited out by Diamond.
So it didn't even look like Fnatic were 100% convinced on that one. They didn't have the best positioning. They weren't feeling comfortable about the fight. But look at Peke on Alex.
Peke goes aggressive. Is he going to have enough this time around? Does manage to get the Ignite down. Already used that ultimate. He's going to get the Catalysm come out there, but he can try and get away from it. He's still caught out by the wall, but they're running straight into Misfortune. And she is wrecking face right now. It's going to be Diamondprox. He comes around, bounces across. Soaz has to use that on his hourglass. He's going to get dropped down. It's not quite going to be picked up. It's Genja that takes the kill eventually. Can they chase the elastic slingshot onto Peke? Bounces him in the air. And Diamondprox picks up another kill. And now it's going to be N-rated. He gets taken down by the support Edward. Can his passive snipe down on towards him? No, it can't.
The bloodlust was too good for Fnatic. They chased one by one by one into all of the damage that Gambit was throwing at them. The only kill they secured wasn't to Darian, and that was a 2 versus 1. He just held them back in that mid lane. And the rest of Fnatic threw themselves at the Russians and just gave away those kills. It was unnecessary. What it means now, with a numbers advantage, Gambit are starting on Baron. They're dropping its HP relatively low. Yellowstar does not have his ultimate available, but Barrier will be up in a second. He may try to contest this one.
He's trying to see whether he can just stop them, prevent them. I'm not too sure if he's going to. They wait for everybody to get in there. Can they catch on towards him? Yes, they can. Alex Hitch is going to turn on towards him, forces him to flash away and cleanse. Is it going to be enough? Alex Hitch does get taken down. No, not quite. This time he does. It's Cyanide that gets the kill, but the Baron was taken, and it's going to be Gambit being the successors. This time it's Genja that picks up yet another kill. Cyanide going down.
They're going to be really happy about that trade. 1 for 1, and they secure Baron for 4 of their team members. A win for Gambit any day of the week. They extend that gold lead to 5,000 gold right now. And something very important about that fight is how Alex uses the death mark to stay alive a couple more seconds. not only does he use that very well, he's just picked himself up a Guardian Angel. So he's got the death mark to avoid all damage for that second or two, and now he's going to revive if you get him down.
It does beg a question, who the hell do you ban against Alex Hitch? Because you take away his Kha'Zix, he pulls out his Zed, who he performed absolutely sterling performance against SK Gaming yesterday and seems to be doing another fantastic job. You can see he's nearly got a 100 CS stretch lead over Peke in that mid lane, but more importantly, Peke just can't stand toe-to-toe with him anymore. He has to just try and avoid him, and who really can? No one at all on the map can get close to doing the damage they need to take Alex Hitch out of the game, out of the fight as quick as possible. And while they're concentrating on that, you have Genja at the backside and Diamond launching himself at you.
Yeah, there's nothing that you can do. They come at you from all sides, and that's something that we actually didn't touch on, is just how mobile those three particular champions are. You've got Darian on Elise, who can just, you know, hop over the entire battlefield with Repel. You have Diamond Prox on Zac, who can literally hop over the entire battlefield. And then, of course, that Shadow Clone from Zed that's just going to be hopping in and out of battle, using that ultimate to become untargetable for that brief moment of time. So it's very difficult to lock anybody down. We do see a Chain Vest being picked up there for Yellow Star, so I expect that to become the likes of a Guardian Angel, maybe a Randuin's if he wants to, but we'll see how it goes. Right now, Gambit are stacked up as 5 in the jungle. They can see that Soaz is in the top lane, and it looks like they've got their eyes set on this bottom inner tower.
He's backing off and trying to run back in as quick as possible. See whether he's going to be able to do that, because Gambit, they're shoving along that bottom lane. Remember, with that Baron on there, they may be able to catch Darian out. No, didn't quite land the roots on towards him, and Rated trying to keep everyone back, and it's Edward clearing out the top lane. I don't think Fnatic are going to want to fight for this one. They do manage to force them back for a short while. That turret's already down to half health.
So the minion wave is deleted. They've saved the tower. They're thinking about going for an engagement, but Fnatic, their positioning isn't 100% ideal. If N-Rated gets a good grasping route, they may go in. This is prime positioning for Equalizer, and this is how Fnatic brought themselves back against the evil geniuses. The slingshot was being primed. When you cancel it, you get half the health back as well as half the cooldown. So it's not the end of the world if you charge it up and go, nope, I don't want none of that.
But they know that that cooldown is there, and it looks like Gambit going to maybe choose to step away from this one. Despite the fact they have Baron, they're still not confident enough to tower dive in towards Fnatic, because if that Cataclysm were to land and the Equalizer to go across the top of them, someone would get melted there. And we do see a couple of harpoons as well as the Flame Spitter on Diamond there, taking a lot of damage, and now Cyanide's also keeping them back. Successful defense so far, but can Gambit poke someone down? Can they pick someone off? It doesn't matter, because look at the mid lane. Alex Hitch is there.
The entirety of those last 30 seconds, Alex was shoving down that mid lane. He's putting a lot of damage on that turret. So you can see a number of members of Fnatic are responding to that. And all this means is Gambit say, well, thank you very much. The distraction tactic ran, successfully worked. And you think you can split push Fnatic? We can do it too.
Yeah, they did manage to successfully maneuver them. They're going to go back. They're going to deal with that giant wave pushing their top inhibitor turret. So expect them to go back and buy and pick up a chunk more items. We'll see what they all get stretched into. Let's look across the items across the board. Jungler to jungler, well, it's a big difference right now for Diamond. He's been involved in pretty much all of the fights that have happened in one way or another. We also see the fact that Darian actually against Soaz, you know, considering how pressured he was 1-4-0. He's now 4-5-3. He's been getting himself back into this game, and we talked about it before. Every team that seems to focus so heavily on Darian, he always finds a way to get back in the game.
It's just the way the team works. He pulls the attention away, he draws the attraction, and then he's this big juicy target that's underpowered, underleveled. You focus him and the rest of the team kills you, and you know he'll find these opportunities. Very interestingly, he's got himself a runic bulwark, as does Diamond Prox's Zac. So they're going to be double stacking for one another, but not for everybody else. So we'll see whether or not those are the only defensive items they buy, and how they're going to start leveling that. Across the rest of the board, we do see some ability power being picked up by N-Rated, so he's going to start hitting a little bit harder. And again, Boots of Mobility plus Captain Boots for Edward. He did this yesterday, and it's something that I really like seeing more of.
Yeah, it's going to help his team run towards him, or into it, really, since Edward tends to be the first man at the front.
Very true.
Trying to land that crescendo. Diamond Prox leaping himself across, maybe thinking of stealing away that blue buff, but I think it was Genja that he went to. So, looking like Gambit going to stack themselves maybe in towards, they're going to go for the Dragon first. That middle turret, which inhibitor will they go towards? The Baron buff, well, that has worn off. So that's going to be up in 2 minutes' time. Dragon's going to go down, and the gold swing continues in Gambit's favor. Just shy of 8,000 gold ahead now. In fact, it's just over 8,000 gold ahead. And Diamond Prox, he's continuing to clear out everything in Fnatic's jungle. But Fnatic, look at this. They're making a surge up the mid lane.
They stacked up as 5. They realized that their opponents are a little bit spread out, and they may decide to go for an objective. Baron is only up in a minute and a half, so they can't even shove the wave down and then try to rush Baron at this point. The one thing that we did notice when we looked at the gold is that PK is 5,000 behind that of Alex right now, which is a very, very big difference. And I believe, of course, it's 3 dragons that have gone to Gambit and only 1 that's gone to Fnatic over the course of the game. So it's something that we see again, that Gambit just seem to have timing and control, and they know how to bully their opponents out of that position. Some items that have been picked up recently. Sona has obviously picked up that Oracle's Elixir, going to be clearing out those wards as per usual. Sunfire Cape there on Zac, so he's got that armor. He's going to be split pushing. He's going to survive any physical attacks that are coming down. And of course the Void Staff there on Kennen as well.
So Edward clears out all of the wards. Pokes it out. Gets his own wards in. And Baron is set up and ready to go for Gambit. First game of the day, of course, was Evil Geniuses. They did go 2-0 over SK Gaming. Apologies if I've just spoiled that for you, but, well, you should have been watching earlier on. 27 seconds on the Baron. And will the first game be Gambit's? Will they be able to secure themselves that first important victory? The confidence boost that it could bring, of course. Fnatic on that blue side, heavily favored by Evil Geniuses, despite the fact they picked up a win on the red earlier on today. We have seen many red wins, and dispelling that myth constantly that blue side is the strongest for both teams.
Take a look at this. Darien almost walked into 2 members of Fnatic. And talking about percentages and numbers, this particular matchup, 55% of the vote felt that Fnatic were going to win it. Coming into the game, we'll have to double-check that vote if the numbers have changed. He goes a little Demacian standard down, gives some vision, and Darien's just like, hey guys, what's up? I'm here.
Dances around it.
Exactly. Rest of Gambit are starting to respond as Baron is up. Very crucially, Alex's position off to the side. Fnatic are unaware of it. They have no vision in the tri-bush. And Alex can take anybody he wants out of this game. There's the slingshot being charged. He's hopped in and let's bounce!
He launches in there, bounces all over PK. PK tries to turn his ultimate, hits the Zhonya's hourglass instantly, but a straight repel comes out from Darien, and Genja just melts him down, but soon moment he lands. Flash crescendo comes out from Edward. Chain of Corruption back on towards Diamond. Diamond may be able to get dropped there, but he's gaining more health than he's losing. Alex Itch, Guardian Angel's going to get popped, and the rest of Fnatic jumping away, but another bounce comes in from Diamond. This time, he might get sniped out, but his passive should be strong enough. Yellow Star is going to get caught out. The Fangs from Darien pick up the kill, and Gambit now turn and burn. They're going to run straight towards that Baron.
Xpecker's ultimate did zip 0 and nothing in that fight. He dove into the middle of Gambit. They split up completely, and they took 0 damage from slicing Maelstrom. 2 for 0 in that engagement, and the crescendo only hit 1 person. It only caught Cyanide, but it was just because Fnatic were retreating so quickly that, you know, Edward wasn't able to get in range. Cyanide maybe caught out himself.
Caught out there. You can see Diamond jump straight in towards him. He will be able to slide away, but it's going to be this top turret they're going to move straight towards. They have got that Baron buff, of course, the regen coming out. Diamond's just having fun, it looks like.
Yeah, just hopping around, and why not? It's one of the champions that's just, the animations are so crisp and good. This is going to be the 6th tower going down for Gambit. They extend that gold lead to about 14,000 gold now. That's the 2nd Baron of the game. And you got to feel that they are in complete control of this matchup. They've won every single team fight. There is equalizer available, and there it goes.
There's the equalizer. That's going to get the slow on Darien. They may well be able to pick up the exit kill, but Genja is still there. Is it going to be enough to turn it back around? They're going to dive in. Cyanide's going to get dropped, and they're bouncing around. He's catching PK out. Look how much damage that is coming out just from Diamond Procs there. And Gambit turned this fight straight away back in towards their favor in a 4v3.
4v3, they pick up a kill, and that was Fnatic. They picked a fight. Gambit weren't even sure they wanted it. Deathmark is available for Alex, so that ward is going to reveal him. We'll see if he's going to hop over, but at the time being, he needs some crowd control. He is there on the side, and it doesn't look like he's going in.
Sona, meanwhile, in the form of Edward, is shoving that mid lane. There is a big creep wave from Fnatic pushing along the bottom, but I don't think they're going to be too worried about that one. No, they are finally going to go back and buy, and Edward's going to keep that pressure, keep Fnatic in their base with this wave.
So we'll see how long they can hold off. They've defended 1 Baron buff already. It only cost them a couple of towers. They've already lost towers on this particular Baron buff and kills. And you do see the slicing Maelstrom is up. Fnatic looking like they want to pick a fight, but it's difficult to fight a team that's this far ahead and that has Baron buff and all of the regeneration associated with it.
I think they've bought enough time to get this blue buff. You can see Peke is going to come around. Diamondprox is already there. Is he going to have enough to just smite it down? He will be able to. You can see the smite comes in. He does manage to land the smite, and he just jumps away, but the rest of Fnatic are collapsing in around him. He's going to try and let's bounce away from this one, but the rest of Gambit turn back around. Equalizer goes down. Should be enough. His passive goes down, but he's in the middle of a slicing maelstrom. Peke uses that. Zhonya's hourglass. Cyanide comes across. He's trying to disrupt them. You can see Alex Itch. Zhonya's comes out from Soaz, but he's going to get launched in. The Fangs come down, and the rest of Gambit closing around them. Enrate is going to see if he can take down Alex Itch, but they can't. And Fnatic are completely melted with a triple kill from Alex Itch. That's going to be the ace and possibly the game.
Gambit were in complete control of that team fight. They didn't even get Zac. They blew everything, but they couldn't find the blubber. They couldn't blow up the chunks. Game 1 of the best of 5 goes to Gambit.
Fantastic, fantastic performance. So, there is first blood in this best of 5 series. 26-13, exactly double the kills. And look at that, you can't keep a good man down. 5-5-7 for Darian after going 1-4-0.